Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day number 147. So nice to see you guys in here tonight, and it is much appreciated. Tonight, the 9 o'clock update, 9:02, almost 9:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are live, 6:03 California, 4:03 a.m. in Ukraine. I can tell you that Zhenya and our refugee kids are doing well. Very little coverage today for them. They are down on that river, and they're doing well. In fact, today, another good day. We've got another team that's a part of our team with Zhenya. We're getting ready to dispatch into the Donetsk region. And today we were able to get the funds there to them for that trip to visit and to serve food, medicine, transport, getting people out, all of these things. So it's really, really good, and we'll talk about that. So thank you all for being here. Live update, and the title of the program tonight is Russia Leaves No Doubt on Their Intentions of This War. How much land does Russia want? And I think JDO, he's already seen the quiz. They want all of it. Beardy Day, welcome to you. Chuck Pinkham, Don Giannolini, and Jeffrey Burnett, thank you. You had a tough job last night moderating, but you're doing a great job. And we were on top of it tonight and ready to go. Shirley Phelps, I see you there out in Washington. Rick Berry, Paul Kiss, our native Canadian Pennsylvanian, and Ricochet, blessings to you. All you guys down in Virginia, Fireball, Rogam, Julia Augustine, bless you. Powerful explosions are heard in Mykolaiv. Yes, that is correct. So I'll teach you guys something on Nikolaev and Mykolaiv. Nikolaev would be the Russian name. Mykolaiv will be the Ukrainian name. Both are acceptable. So just a little tidbits of information there. Welcome all you guys out in California. And Seagull 32, love that name. We're going to go over all of that and get to it. So we're going to start here tonight. We're going to start not there, but we're going to start right. You know where I'm going. Very sad day in Kharkiv. I actually have video of this, and it's I do not even want to see it again. So I have a still image here. Kharkiv was struck this morning, and right on residential areas, 3 people lost their lives. The problem is, of course, when anyone loses their lives, but this morning was especially significant because 2 children lost their lives at the bus stop. And you talking just about sad. It was right in the downtown of Kharkiv, and of course media and people with phones and all this was there, so all the video is there, and I just don't even want to watch it, but it was so sad. Here you see a man in the middle. That's actually the father of the 13-year-old boy that was killed by the shelling, and it's very sad, and there's an aid worker there kneeling down beside him. And in the man's left hand is a Bible, and he's reading some scriptures. And if you see his right hand extended, he's holding his son's hand. Very just terrible. And these are the things that, Zhenya shares from the inside there in Ukraine, where he says you don't see it if all you watch is the news, but it is nonstop shelling, and people are dying every day. This is just an example. So very, very, very sad day in Kharkiv. Now, the front lines are heating up, and I have some things I want to show you guys tonight. So out of Kyiv early this morning, let me go back to a different one here. Out of Kyiv early this morning came a directive from, oh my goodness. Podolyak, I'm sorry, just took me a moment to remember his name. Podolyak and Edestovich came out. The names are hard tonight to remember. Came out and told Ukrainian citizens that are located on the front lines to please leave. Now, I want to show you this tonight. They specifically talked about the Donetsk region, and they talked about that pocket around Siversk. I want to show you both of them. So, of course, here is Donetsk. We know completely occupied, but this is the front line you see here. So Nosolivka, Nova Bakhmutovka, some good names here. Nosolivka Druha, Vesele, Kamyatka, Adyovka, Pisky, Kranarovka, and Marinka. They told people to leave. They didn't ask them to get into a shelter. They told the Ukrainian citizens to leave because there is already movement infantry-wise from the Russian forces. Secondly, this is the pocket that you guys know very, very well. This is Slavyansk. This is Kramatorsk. But these are not the main pushes yet. Yes, they are being shelled. They're being nonstop. In fact, there was people killed today in Kramatorsk from shelling missile strikes. But Siversk right here, of course, this is the city where we have done work. And for those of you that have been here with us a while, you know our team has been there. We've broadcast from Siversk. But Russia is pushing in as we talked. And Kyiv has said, you have to leave. Because what has happened in Severodonetsk, what has happened in Lysychansk, it's going to happen. We can't stop them yet. We can respond. We're blowing up munitions. We're trying to destroy infrastructure routes, such as the bridge down near Kherson. But we can't stop every village in every little town. So please leave. So they have asked people to leave Mayaki, Raihorodok, Zakotny, Sebryanka, of course, Siversk. And then the big one is Bakhmut. And I'm going to show you something about Bakhmut right now. And then we're going to jump down to Kherson.
Город Бахмут Донецкой области.
The city of Bakhmut in the Donetsk region is one of the targets of the Russian army, and the Russians have been trying to take control of the towns and settlements of the Bakhmut district for months now. About 15,000 of the city's 80,000 residents remain in the city. Every day, the Russian occupiers are launching missile and airstrikes, as well as using artillery.
This is what one of the city markets looks like. As a result of the shelling, some of the outlets here were burned out. However, people are still working there. Alla, a pensioner, has no one here except her 92-year-old mother. They don't leave the apartment during the air raid. She says it's difficult for her mother to go down to the basement.
She can hardly walk alone. I fell yesterday and on Friday too, all in bruises.
Fighting is already taking place near the city, but the locals do not want to evacuate.
Do you know how many kilometers away from you the fighting is? Yes, 10-15 kilometers away from us. Aren't you scared? Of course it's scary. Well, why are you staying? Maybe you should go to your relatives somewhere. Who cares about us?
The Russian occupiers are not only shelling the outskirts of Bakhmut, they are also hitting the center of the city. As a result, about 10 major industrial enterprises, which used to employ thousands of people, have been completely destroyed. Reported by Roman Smoler, Ksenia Buhai, Olena Khramova, UATV News.
And that sign that you see right there says Yalablu Bakhmut, meaning I love Bakhmut. So Bakhmut, city of about 80,000 people, and just for a reference point, the city we were just talking about, where you see all of the shelling, where you see the center being struck, is right here. So it's 4 to 5 miles off of the front line here. But it's definitely, remember what I've also shown you is this M3 highway here. They want Kramatorsk, Slavyansk next. Now, I want to show you guys also over here, Kherson. I want to come down to two things here. We're going to look in a moment specifically right here at the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. We've got an update on that. And of course, you know they're using that to strike at Nikopol and at Zaporozhye. But Mykolaiv right now under constant attack. And I want to show you something about Kherson. Kherson is occupied. This is basically the line. Kherson, large city, shipbuilding city, port city, the mouth city for the Dnieper River or the Dnipro River. Very, very important city. But Kherson is basically locked down. It was a few days ago that President Zelensky himself, not Arestovich, not Kuleba, not any of the other guys that we know their names there in Kyiv, it was Zelensky. It was Zelensky who said to anyone who is in Kherson who can possibly get out, you need to get out. Why? Because the city of Kherson has basically turned into a totalitarian state. Not only is the Russian military there and controlling it very tightly, but they are kidnapping, they are forcing labor, and they are terrorizing the local population. I'm going to show you a video clip now. And basically, Kherson document station, you're going to see this is security footage outside of a document transfer station, and I'm able to pause it and read the sign for you. If you look in the top of the video, you will see the Russian flag flying. Of course, easy to identify, the red, white, and blue, not the blue and yellow of Ukraine. You're going to see a gentleman walk down the street, big dude, carrying a bag from the market. So the forces go up, ask him what's in the bag. He says, I don't have to show you what's in my bag. The rest is history. That guy's now gone. He is detained. So here, you can see it. There is no sound, so don't try to turn your volume up or think something's missing. This is security footage. Now, if you look right here, if you see the sign there, you guys can see the 6,700. Anybody, we can see the numbers. But if you look above that, you're going to see the bottom of the Russian flag. And then what that sign says is this is the Kherson Oblast or Kherson region. It is the Russian Federation place for gathering documents and document exchange, meaning this is where you get your Russian documents, your Russian papers, your Russian passport. And of course, you see what is happening here. What's in the bag? That's all that is. This is what's happening in Kherson. And these are some of the reasons why President Zelensky said, listen, you need, if possible, to get out of Kherson. Another big newsmaker today is Energodar. You guys know about this. It is right here on the red circle. I'll actually make that the black circle now right here. This is where Energodar is. And I'm going to give you an aerial view now. We know this is the largest or second largest nuclear power plant in all of Europe, and it is occupied by Russia. They are using force and terrorist tactics, forcing the Ukrainian technical specialists, scientists to work there under their control. There are up to 500 Russian soldiers there, but more importantly, there is tons of equipment that Russia is using to strike out from. And of course, it's very difficult for Ukraine to respond. Now, where the X's are, and I actually could zoom out, there's the whole lake there. They've got their equipment spread all around. But today, you see the pink box I have drawn for you there. That would actually be where the reactors are. There are 6 reactors there. This is a tremendously large complex, and now Russia has pulled their technical equipment into the pink box. So they still have equipment, of course, out where they can shell, but now they are actually drawing it in even closer to the places where we could actually have a disaster if something goes wrong. And this is extremely risky for everybody. This wouldn't be a human shield. This would be using a nuclear shield. But this is what Russia's doing, and this is their tactic. So this was a major deal today that was in the Ukrainian news, how they're using that. Many of you have been asking, how many HIMARS are there? How many M270s are there? We have 12 HIMARS there right now. 4 more are coming. So we will have a total of 16. Those things are doing an amazing job, as well as M270s. And I know all of our technical guys in here know much more about it. Ricochet, very telling that no faces are shown public consumption. Yes. Hola, Medic Trevor. Welcome, my friend. So 16 HIMARS and 6 on the M270s. It's good. Now, I want to go next. President Vladimir Putin, after the meeting last night in a press conference, he made it very clear on the stance of Russia in regard to grain. If you go back to last night's program, I showed you a chart how the exports from Crimea, Sevastopol specifically, went from basically nothing, 8,000 tons, to over 450,000 tons of grain being exported by Russia. Of course, stolen Ukrainian grain. Well, now Putin has come out and made it clear about the grain exports. This is translated for you, and I want you just to read it very clearly. The translation is perfect. Understand what he is saying, and we'll discuss it in just a moment. Putin.
Но изначально мы ставили вопрос таким образом, что это должно быть запакетировано, а именно мы будем содействовать украинского зерна, но исходим из того, что все ограничения, связанные с воздушными поставками на экспорт российского зерна, будут сняты. А мы, повторяю еще раз, сейчас уже готовы, вот сейчас у нас экспортный потенциал 30 миллионов тонн зерновых, по результатам текущего года будет 50.
Of course, you see the backdrop of Tehran there. So, did you read what he said? Unless you're in here tonight and you're a Russian speaker. He said, we are exporting Ukrainian grain. Not Russian grain. Not grain of a country that is occupying our territory. Not a place of fascists and Nazis, but Ukrainian grain. We're facilitating the export of Ukrainian grain. Okay, let's just make it clear to the world that we're taking Ukrainian grain. Secondly, if you noticed, he said, we will work further toward the export of grain when basically the sanctions on Russia are lifted, when the strenuous set of circumstances for our exports are lifted, once again, trying to hold the world hostage. And then his third statement was, we're at about 30 million tons of grain that we can export now, and up to 50 million tons of grain by the end of the year. All clear for the world to see that this is much more than just liberating a couple of regions for our people. They are wanting and desiring to eliminate Ukraine. As Jens Stoltenberg would say, full stop. So that is the update from President Putin. Now, I want to get into this. Lavrov, the foreign minister of Russia today, being interviewed by one of the propagandists. You will recognize her if you've been in here much with me. Lavrov makes very clear the target lines of aggression. I'm going to play the clip first, and then I'm going to explain my coloring here. So, Lavrov, translated very well.
В Стамбуле была встреча переговорщиков. Там была одна география. И наша готовность принять украинское предложение опиралась на ту географию, на географию конца марта 2022 года. Сейчас...
То есть ДНР, ЛНР?
Ну, так, если...
Более-менее.
Более-менее. Сейчас география другая. Это далеко не только ДНР, ЛНР, это еще и Херсонская область, Запорожская область и ряд других территорий. И этот процесс продолжается. Причем продолжается последовательно и настойчиво. По мере того, как Запад вот в такой, я бы сказал, в бессильной злобе, что ли, или в желании максимально усугубить ситуацию, накачивает Украину все более дальнобойным оружием, эти хаймарсы вроде там уже Резников, или кто-то у них хвалится, что уже 300-километровые боеприпасы они получили. Ну, значит, задачи географические будут отодвигаться от нынешней линии еще дальше. Потому что мы не можем допустить, чтобы на той части Украины, которую будет контролировать Зеленский там, или кто его заменит, находилось оружие, которое будет представлять прямую угрозу нашей территории. И территории тех республик, которые объявили о своей независимости, и тех, которые хотят свое будущее определить самостоятельно.
That's about as clear as it can be stated. I believe that woman spent time growing up in the USA. CZ, I can actually confirm she went to university in the United States. She has a United States education. She speaks perfect English. There you go for good education. Enough said. Now, I've colored this map. Let me now break it down with what Lavrov said. Lavrov said that because Ukraine now has the ability, they've already got the armament to reach 300 kilometers. Now, that changes our outlook for what we want to conquer to 300 kilometers. Remember when this started? In fact, I'll just go here. When this started, we had Crimea stolen in 2014. We had this little breakaway region of Lugansk. That's it. You can look at the maps. And we had this little breakaway region of Donetsk. Not even Mariupol. This is what it started with. Now, we see that we've moved and basically up behind Kharkiv and coming down pretty much all of Lugansk, out over Izum, coming down now across below Zaporozhye, and this is vitally important. This is now what we have. So that's represented here with the shading basically in the red. I'm coloring freehand there. So what Lavrov has said is anything from our territory, our sovereign land, within the 300-kilometer range is a target. We cannot allow Zelensky and the West feeding them these powerful weapons to be able to strike our sovereign territory. And he said, the territory of those that have stated that they are separate, independent, or a part of us. 300 kilometers. So when we look here, I did the coloring. If you look at the top of the map, the gray, if you go to the target line, forget Belarus right now, not even talking about Belarus, but if you go to that corner where the X is, top center of the map, 300 kilometers reaches all the way in the gray shaded area, basically, over past Zhytomyr, down past Bila Cerkvi, which is White Church, of course, over through Sumy. Then on the right, where the current lines are, the red can be reached coming down to the south. I have a purple line drawn there, which is basically the front line. 300 kilometers, reaches up all the way and touches the gray. So now you see that basically 2/3 of Ukraine is gone. This is very similar to the line that I've drawn from the beginning, not including Kyiv. Now, I've colored a green area. Well, how is the green calculated for 300 kilometers? Well, go back to here. What is on the map that's vital that Russia claims? And right now, there are 1,500 Russian soldiers located there, right here, the Transnistria region. So from this point, 300 kilometers reaches out into this circle, and that is signified by the green. So at best case scenario, and I'm not calculating at all, even thinking about this right here, because if Russia takes over Belarus officially, or they come to some agreement, which is definitely in the talks, and this border becomes Russia, well, then it's all of Ukraine. It's all of Ukraine. If we do not take the Belarusian border into consideration, we go back to this map, and then all that's left is the blue. That would be Ukraine. That strip. What would be the capital? Lviv. That's it. You would have the Northwest, the Volyn region. You would have the Carpathian Mountains, and you would have Lviv. That small strip of land. That is how much territory. Specifically, going off of Lavrov's own words, and I measured it all out today. They want it all. And they are using the flow of Western weapons, which we should be, and we need to continue, and we need to increase it. But they're using it as their excuse to show their real intentions. Russia wants Ukraine gone. It's obvious. And as Jens Stoltenberg said yesterday, if Russia takes Ukraine, he told NATO and the EU representatives very clearly, we're next on the target. So this is very clear what Russia wants. And it's really interesting. You know, when we first started covering this, and we've done this every night on this war because we believe in Ukraine and we work there, we support it. And thank you for your support, your prayer, your finances. We're making a huge difference, as you guys know. But when we first started, day one, as soon as the missiles started flying, Zhenya and I were doing a live stream together, and we've been going ever since. And for those of you that are new and just joining the channel, we had lots of new subscribers over the last couple of days. Thank you. Thank you for liking, commenting, and all of that. I appreciate it. And all the people that watch now on Reddit, huge, huge. We're making a big impact. But we've been doing this from day one. We've worked in this nation with my mentor over 30 years. And we're doing a good thing. And we will continue. But if you remember, for those of you that have been here the long haul, the beginning of this war, Putin, Lavrov, they talked in mysteries. No, it's just a special operation. It's just the liberation of our Russian-speaking people. It's just the liberation from the fascists. They're all the Azov regiment. We've got to take them out. They're Nazis. Okay, that's what we're doing now. Fast forward to day 147. Putin says, well, it's basically Ukrainian grain, and we're going to ship it to the world. Are you going to pay Ukraine? Of course not. We're going to steal it and ship it. And then Lavrov comes out and says, you know, basically 300 kilometers from any point of ours. That's basically all of Ukraine. No hiding it now. Syria breaks ties with Kyiv. A little while ago, 6 weeks or so ago, Kyiv broke relationships with Syria. Syria did not. But very interesting timing for me. We watch it every day. After the meeting in the summit yesterday in Tehran with Iran, Russia, and Turkey, very interesting today when one of their main topics was Syria, that Syria comes out today and breaks all ties with Ukraine. Coincidence? Of course not. Of course not. And finally, I can't tell you how many guys. Kevin Sheffield, you are 100% spot on. Agreed. So I can't tell you how many of you, and it's kind of crazy, to be honest. And I'm going to leave with a feel-good story tonight. It's been a unique day. It's been tough in Kharkiv, and it's tough in the east. But we've done some good things in the south toward Kherson. We'll see what unfolds in the next 23 hours. I probably, over the 147 days, have received over 100 messages, even during the live stream or private messages asking, do you know about the pets? Because people are leaving. What about their pets? Well, what about the animals left behind? I know many of you have pets, care about your pets, and love your pets. They're a member of your family. What about the pets? Ukraine's working on it. Check this out.
У селах та населених пунктах на лінії зіткнення більшість абсолютно людей евакуювалася, залишилось дуже багато тварин. Собаки, котів. Тисячі їх тут бігають, і щоб їх нагодувати, от колеги з Єдиної планети передали нам такі годівнички, яких вистачає щонайменше на тиждень. З кормом 200 кілограмів перших прийшло. І зараз ми їх прикручуємо в таких населених пунктах, фронтових, прифронтових, щоб собаки і коти могли харчуватися.
There you have it. And love the backing track and the dogs. Well, the video came from Ukraine. The backing track came from me. That way the copyrights don't catch us. So, there you go. Many of you've asked, and I know even some folks in here, there's CZ, loving it. I am helping with animals in a small way, numerous organizations. So there you have it. That is the update on pets. But, the pets is one reason I wanted to show that, but the other reason I wanted to show, and this is where I want to close the update for tonight. I've worked in Ukraine, and I will be there. It's getting close now. We're looking at about 5 weeks from now, and we'll be streaming from Ukraine. But I know Ukrainian people. I just do. I know that entire country. I've been over it from one end to the other and north to south, east to west. Over 2 years of my life, I've lived inside of Ukraine. That's how people are in general. They're kind. And you see those soldiers there taking the time to put up the feeders, and I know organizations are helping. Doesn't look like a bunch of Nazis to me. Looks like people that genuinely care, and that's who we're here to support. So, thank you guys, as always, for being here. Great update tonight. Great activity in the chat. Yeah, I'm sorry to say, once the Russians roll, they will kick over those feeders. That's why we've got to keep them from getting in there. So thank you guys for being here. Of course, every 23 hours, 9 o'clock Eastern, we'll have the next update for you. Blessings to all of you. Continue to pray for Ukraine. Remember, and we'll give more details about it as we get closer. We have our benefit auction coming up this Sunday, and I'm going to live stream it. And you can just pop in and watch a little bit. We're going to raise a lot of money, and every penny goes to Ukraine. We are well north of $120,000 donated now. So thank you guys as always. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Peace to you and peace to Ukraine. We'll see you in 23 hours. Have a good evening.